Hey, what's up guys, my name is Charlie. Today we're going to be reacting to some more nostalgia critic, and it's going to be old versus new Ten Commandments. Oh boy, I would say what's this going to be about, but obviously it's about the Ten Commandments. Yeah, shall be very fascinating. I wonder if he's going to be reviewing sort of movies based on like the Ten Commandments, because there's quite a lot of religious movies that sort of go in that direction, and just try to follow the Ten Commandments, so to speak. Personally, I don't follow the Ten Commandments myself, but I have like 5 YouTube commandments that I always follow. Yeah, let's check out this video and see what Nostalgia Critic has to say about all these Ten Commandments movies, or so to speak. Yeah, let's check it out, shall we? Let's go.
Hello, I'm the Nostalgia Critic.
Maybe it is
I remember
movies.
it, so you don't have
Maybe it's a game.
Welcome
Who knows?
to another rendition of Old versus New.
Wonder what sort of style this is gonna be.
Seeing how we're so close to Thanksgiving, I thought it'd be great if we talked about a pair of Thanksgiving movies.
Okay.
You know, because it's kind of religious.
Yeah.
I think Moses carved a turkey once. I forget it. It's the Ten Commandments.
Yeah. Let's go with
In
it.
1956, one of the greatest directors of all time, Cecil B. DeMille, made one of the most famous films of all time, The Ten Commandments.
The Ten
Actually, it was a remake of his already popular epic.
Never
from the
seen it, I don't
1912s.
think.
I guess he just wanted to up the epicness. And I know I should probably do an old versus new on these two films, but seeing how they both had the same director, I think it's kind of cheating. The 56 version is of course considered a classic, and no major studio would dare try to top it. That is until DreamWorks came along and tried to tell
the Prince
same
of
story as an
Egypt,
animated musical.
amazing. That's
Interesting
amazing.
choice.
Hans Zimmer
When you hear
made the
Bible
music
mixed with
from one of
musical
these.
and Disney-style animation, you automatically think disaster. But The Prince of Egypt was actually a decent remake.
Yeah, it was
wasn't
good. It
telling
had
the exact same story. It had different angles,
had a
different
lot of
scale, and a
actors in
different
it,
spin
like
on the main
Val
characters.
Kilmer
in my
and
opinion,
Sandra
it's a very
Bullock in it,
underrated animated film.
and Steve Martin
But
was
still,
in this.
which one holds up the best, the original
Also, I
classic or
think
the
Jeff
animated
Goldblum
reimagined?
and
Let's
Patrick
dive right
Stewart
into the
from
land of
Star
milk and
Trek
honey.
and
That would
James
be nice,
Avery.
but I'm talking about the movies. This is Old versus
He
New.
was in
Ten
Fresh Prince
Commandments
of
versus
Bel-Air.
The Prince of Egypt.
There was a lot of actors in this Prince of Egypt movie. It's one of my most favorite. The music is just fucking majestic. The Prince of Egypt, one of my most favorite
It's hard
films
to find
of all
someone
time.
to play one of the most holy people in all of the Bible. So we'll just settle for the human from Planet of the Apes and Iceman from Top Gun.
Yeah.
So, let's take a look at Best Moses.
Okay.
Like
Best
many of the
Moses.
elements in this comparison, these two performances couldn't be any more different. Charlton Heston's Moses is very much like a prodigy, even before he speaks with God.
Let your own image proclaim my loyalty.
Well,
for 1,000
it's a bit
years.
advantage and disadvantage. It's live action versus a cartoon.
Or Val
So,
Kilmer's Moses is seen much more as the everyman, the person who fell into his leadership rather than seeking it out.
I was the Prince of Egypt, the son of the man who slaughtered their children.
Jesus.
You've chosen the wrong messenger. How can I even speak to these people?
Both do very well and convey exactly what they need to convey. So really it just depends on which Moses you like better, the everyman or the Superman. For me personally, I enjoy Heston's performance a little more. The reason being that he has an unbelievable amount of confidence. When you see Heston as the Prince of Egypt, you immediately want to be like him. Strong and powerful, but also kind and wise.
Kind and wise with muscles.
Reign belongs to the gods.
What the gods can digest will not sour in the belly of
God.
a slave.
I think we all
Everything he
wish we
says
had
has such
bodies like
weight
that.
to it.
Jesus.
He was destined for greatness even before he found his true calling. If you were told this guy was going to be your leader, you'd follow him in a heartbeat. Okay, you'd recommend a good hair salon first, but you would follow it.
City is built
I want to
of
watch
brick
this movie
Pharaoh.
now. I want to check
The
out this
strong
movie,
make
Ten
many, the
Commandments.
starving make few. The dead make none.
The animated Moses starts out more like a rambunctious young man, like a college student who crashed his dad's car.
It was for kids as well, so it had to be a bit
I
different.
goaded Ramesses on, and so I am responsible.
Couldn't.
This isn't bad though, as it shows by the end just how far he's come in leadership.
Yeah.
I guess in a way you could argue that this makes him more human. And again, there's nothing wrong with that, as Moses was human. Or was he?
Oh God, what the fuck? Oh,
But
no.
Heston I found was just more interesting because you feel like there was a greatness in him from the start. And when you see it realized, it's all the more influential. Though granted, his speech can at times be a little stilted and, dare I say it, preachy.
Blessed art thou, Lord our God. We bring you the word of God, and you shall know that God is God.
What kingdom has sent you?
The kingdom of the Most High. Biatch.
Both do very well, but I think Heston gets the
Jesus.
point in this round. Even though Kilmer's is more human and sympathetic, Heston sort of represents the will and strength that all good people can possess. And that's pretty hard to pull off. Plus, he's the only Moses where you actually know his last name.
Oh, Moses, 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 Moses.
Moses.
Moses, Moses.
Yeah, I bet you didn't know Moses' last name was also Moses, did you?
Damn.
It's just like that other movie.
Mario and Luigi Mario.
Don't start with me!
Oh god,
Point
don't
goes to
you
Ten
dare.
Commandments.
I didn't mean
Ten
to
Commandments.
cause you more
Yeah,
pain.
I need to watch this Ten Commandments movie. I might watch that. It looks really good. I can't believe I've never seen
But
it.
what about the villain?
I think I've seen the
Ramesses is
trailer,
one of the greatest villains of all
never
time.
the movie.
But did you know that him and Moses were brothers?
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't know that. Sorry, I didn't know. This is the best Ramesses.
Yeah. Oh boy. The music in The Prince of
Again,
Egypt
these
is
two are
incredible.
very different performances. Yul Brynner plays Ramesses as very cold-hearted, caring nothing for his brother or anyone else except his legacy.
Here is your kingdom. With the scorpion, the cobra, and the lizard for subjects. Free them if you will. Leave the Hebrews to me.
While Ray Fiennes plays
50
Ramesses as a
First
product
Dates,
of his
something like
environment.
that.
A tortured
Or
soul
was it
who
40
still
First
loves his
Dates?
brother,
Remember.
but is also under the psychological grip of his overbearing father.
One weak link can break the chain of a mighty dynasty. I will not be the weak link.
Because of this, the Ramesses in Prince of Egypt comes across as more tragic. You know why he's making his decisions and how much it destroys him inside to declare war on his own brother.
Yeah, god.
Why can't things be the way they were before?
Oh, so touching.
Look at this scene, for example. This is one of the best bits of animation I've ever seen. It's just as Moses tells Ramesses that he hasn't returned to be his brother, but rather he's returned to be his enemy. The whole gamut of
Oh,
emotions
that's
is
so
grand here.
painful.
I can no longer hide in the desert while they suffer. At your hands.
Oof.
Sadness, anger, regret, frustration, and vengeance. All in just 40 seconds. That's
Yeah.
pretty impressive. The Ramesses in Ten Commandments is good too, but in a different way. He's likable because of how despicable he is. He's cunning, he's manipulative, and he doesn't care who knows it. Just look at how he talks to the woman who will one day be his wife.
I could never love
Does that matter? You will
Damn.
be my wife. You will come to me whenever I call you.
Damn.
I will enjoy that very much.
What a dickhole. There's
Damn.
great passion and rage that's brought out of this performance, but still, I gotta say Ray Fiennes' version is better. He's simply more complex and sympathetic, but he can also be just as menacing as well.
There shall be a great cry in all of Egypt, such as never has been or ever will be again.
It's a juicy performance right out of Shakespeare, and he's portrayed just perfectly. They pull you into the drama by pulling us into his drama, having to choose between family and legacy. Just about everything you could possibly want in a character is in this performance, and I think that's more than point-worthy. Point goes to Prince of Egypt.
Does that matter?
Yeah, good point. Prince of Egypt.
Now comes the real hard part, the supporting cast. Both these films had a gigantic cast of celebrities, and all
Yeah,
of them were
the
absolutely
Prince of
wonderful.
Egypt was just
Which
crazy
one
full
was
of cast
better?
members.
Let's take a look.
Like I said, Val Kilmer, Sandra Bullock, Steve Martin.
Talk about starstruck. Both these
Jeff
movies had a
Goldblum,
bajillion
Patrick
celebrities
Stewart,
in their
and,
lineup. Ten Commandments
James
had Edward
Avery.
G. Robinson, Vincent Price, Ann Baxter,
That's the
John
classics,
Carradine,
yeah.
and that's just to name a few. Prince of Egypt had Patrick Stewart,
Yeah,
Jeff Goldblum,
there we go.
Sandra Bullock,
I
Michelle
know it.
Phypher. Again, that's just
Mission
to name
of
a few.
Pfeiffer.
So
I'm
which
not
cast
familiar
was
with
better?
her.
Well, Again, they're very
whoever her
different.
name is.
Prince of Egypt has fewer cast members, but they're given
Misha
much more
Fiver, whoever
development.
her
Miriam and Aaron, for
name
example,
is.
are fleshed out much more as Moses' real brother and sister. And Moses' wife, Zipporah, is given a lot more screen time as well, having them meet before he actually leaves his crown. Since 10 Commandments is longer, they're allowed to look at even more characters. Like in this version, Moses has a son. We never even saw a son in Prince of Egypt, unless he was somewhere in the back. The slimy servant of Ramesses
Where's
isn't
Wilder?
in Prince of Egypt
Or where's
either, unless
Moses?
you count Steve Martin and Martin Short as the high priests. Ramesses' wife, who's one of the most interesting characters in the movie, is left out of Prince of Egypt too. What's the better payoff then? Is it good to have fewer characters and more development, or the other way around? Well, for the most part, 10 Commandments comes off as stronger because even though they have more characters, they have great actors to portray them. Because of this, the relatively short scenes still get across how sympathetic or unsympathetic they are. The Egyptian that Moses murders is much more satisfying when you see that it's Vincent Price playing him. You instantly see scumbag, and he doesn't even have to do that much. That's just the power of Vincent Price.
You make no outcry, Joshua. But you will. You will cry for the mercy of death.
From all humiliation and discomfort.
The same can be said for Edward G. Robinson. Look how cocky he is in revealing the secret of Moses' past. Even with a sword up to his throat, he has nothing to fear.
The deliverer is Moses. He's Hebrew, the son of slaves.
I will pay your price.
And like I said, they're not all given small roles. Ramesses' wife is very complex, choosing between the man she loves and the man she marries, only to find her life destroyed by Moses and left with the emptiness of her vengeful husband. Look at this scene. He's about to cut her to ribbons after failing to get Moses until...
Before you strike, show me his blood on your sword.
Bastard can't even do it. Maybe he's ashamed of his failure, maybe he just figures it's crueler to leave her alive, but he knows that killing her will bring him nothing. Only a bitch so simple and yet so complex can cause such a reaction. And I think that's what makes 10 Commandments stand out more. The harshness. They portray a world that's advanced but also savage, where great monuments are made but death is common and seen all the time. A world that needs a savior like Moses to intervene. We get some of that harshness in Prince of Egypt with Steve Martin and Martin Short, but they seem out of place.
You're playing
It's a
with the
little
big
too
boys
gimmicky
now.
and,
One of
for
those
lack of a
songs
better
I remember.
word, cartoony.
You're in trouble,
Cartoony.
Ramesses. Get down
It's a
here.
cartoon. It is supposed to be
The Prince of
cartoony.
Egypt cast is still sympathetic, but this cast is just so fascinating in how cutthroat they are. They get across a lot with very little. And even though I still love the cast in Prince of Egypt, the cast in 10 Commandments is just darker and more interesting.
Yeah.
Point
I've
goes
never
to the 10
watched
Commandments.
the movie 10 Commandments, but I gotta say, it looks a very fascinating, interesting movie, and I really want to watch it now. I truly do.
And now, the big one. The one that I thought I'd never be able to judge. God. I am going to judge God.
Might not want to do that.
Balls to the wall, people. This is the best God.
Oh boy. Might want to judge God. A lot of religious fanatics might be spamming your comment section.
So, yeah, I'll admit, it's a little weird comparing gods. I suppose like before, it just sort of depends on your interpretation. Are you a God-fearing fan or a not God-fearing fan? As far as the story goes, the 10 Commandments God is probably the one most people would think about when hearing it. I mean, this is the God who sent flaming hail, constant darkness, and
Yeah.
killed all the firstborns. In short, this was a badass God. So they provided him with a deep, badass voice.
Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy.
Do this in my name, or you will get a cap in your ass. Seriously, you're like a bug. I could just be like, and you're gone. Don't mess it up.
Smite
I'm
me,
badass God.
oh smitey
In Prince of
smiter.
Egypt, we get more of the warm, loving God that many people have favored over the
Yeah.
past several years.
Take the staff in your hand, Moses.
I prefer this one.
With it, you shall do my wonders.
In my opinion,
what?
the Prince
Killing
of
children?
Egypt God is a little more clever and well
That's-
thought out.
that's
Just look
your
at the
wonder?
burning bush.
He
It
killed-
looks like something not
he
of
killed
this
the
world,
Egyptian
but also something that
king's
can be
son,
soothing and
and
comforting.
that's
The one in
wonder.
the 10 Commandments looks more like a cartoon than
painting
the
lamb
actual
on the
cartoon.
wall and stuff like
It
that.
also makes the clever choice of having the voice of Moses be the voice of God. You can read a lot into that and come up with some fun conclusions as to why.
Who are you?
I am that I am.
A true God doesn't need to kill.
The one in Ten Commandments, again, is the deep traditional booming voice that, while impressive, doesn't sound that loving.
Honor thy father and thy mother.
My father
Like I
and
said,
mother.
as the
That's
story of
bullshit.
smoting goes, this god is probably closer to what most people think of. But the soft, kind god is a much more interesting contrast, and you still feel the size and divinity when he appears. I know it comes down to personal preference, but this god simply seems more like the god of love and peace than this one does. Point goes to the Prince of Egypt.
Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain.
Prince of Egypt. Oh boy.
It's all tied up and we come down to the most important element, the story. This is Story for the Win.
The Ten Commandments, the Prince of Egypt. Oh boy. I gotta watch the original
now,
Ten
logically,
Commandments,
you would
honestly.
think that because Ten Commandments is longer, it has more time to tell a better, complex story. But let's really look at this. Ten Commandments is a complex story with a lot of drama going on, but there's several things they overlooked. For example, it seems to forget that Moses and Ramesses grew up together. That they were technically brothers. I know they're trying to portray Ramesses as the bad seed, but if you were never told that these two were brothers, you probably never would have guessed it. There's no love in their eyes, no memory of the good times that they had. When Moses shows up after years of being gone, Ramesses is just like, whatever, piss off. In Prince of Egypt, the heart of the entire story is around the fact that they're brothers. When Moses arrives, he has no idea how Ramesses is going to react. And he reacts like any brother would.
Moses! Ramesses!
The focus of the story seems to be on their relationship, and it really works. You feel the pain both of them are going through, and how much they wish they could return to what they had. This makes the drama much more interesting. I also like how more visual Prince of Egypt is. I mean, yeah, Ten Commandments looks unbelievable, but Prince of Egypt really used the visuals to its advantage.
Yeah.
Not just because it's animated,
Well,
but because they also do things different.
live action and
Like, compare these scenes
animated
back to
are
back,
really
where Moses
hard
tells
to
his
do.
wife about seeing God. The
Two
original is
different
done
things.
very well, and a lot of it is portrayed just through Charlton Heston's expressions. But in Prince of Egypt, there's no dialogue at all. I like that you have to guess exactly what he's telling her. The music almost tells the story for us, and her reaction of taking it all in is just perfect. You really feel the emotion of this scene. There's also some scriptural problems the Prince of Egypt works with too. Like in Ten Commandments, Moses turns his staff into a snake, but then the high priest do the exact same thing. Isn't the idea in both the Bible and this movie that there's only one God? How did they change those things then? Is it Insta-Snake, just add water?
Yeah.
In Prince of Egypt, it's a bit more clever. All the
Batteries
tricks
not
that priests
included.
perform are done with smoke and mirrors. There's a blinding light when the staffs are transformed, so you could make the argument that they switched them while nobody could see. Now that's a really clever way out. The songs themselves surprisingly really help to tell the story too. Not only do they move it along, but they also show what the characters are going through, as well as enhance both the joy and suffering that everyone has to deal with. Though I will admit at times they do seem a little sporadic.
Wow. Pretty dark indeed. Oh, Jesus.
Dude, all the firstborns are dead. Can you lay off the show tunes? Don't get me wrong, the expressing of emotions in Ten Commandments is good too, but at times it seems a little soap opera-ish. I mean, yeah, this is heavy-duty stuff that they're dealing with, but something about the way they hold themselves and speak to one another does seem like a bit much.
Forgive me, Bithy.
Damn. Well, can you imagine Arnold Schwarzenegger playing that
And
role?
yes, Prince of Egypt does have this problem sometimes too. There's just some moments that feel really forced. Like the comedy in the first half of the movie. It never really feels that natural.
Father will kill me.
Don't worry. Nobody will even notice us coming in.
Nobody will even notice.
The best comedic moments were the ones that actually added to the drama. Like the desperation in Goldblum's voice as Aaron while trying to stop his sister from revealing who they really are.
You must know.
Be careful, slave.
Oh, my good prince. She's exhausted from the day's work. Not that it was too much. We quite enjoyed it, but she's confused.
I believe
Even
that's
the bad
Jeff
comedy
Goldblum.
helps generate the kind of corniness of nostalgia. And let's be honest, nostalgia can be corny.
Goldblum's voice
It's a
right
pleasant time you want to return to where everything seems simpler. And this works in Prince of Egypt because they're creating a great contrast to the later drama. The few corny moments in Ten Commandments just come out as corny, and don't really add anything in the long run. The corniness comes from how overdramatic it is, not how funny it's trying to be. Because of this, surprisingly, the animated musical seems to be the more dramatic film. Does it have problems? Sure. Are there elements from the original that are better? Absolutely. But on the whole, Prince of Egypt knew that the focus had to be on the brothers. That's where the drama comes from.
That's
and
where
that's
the
where most
powerful
interesting
message
conflict
comes
takes
through.
place. They knew that that was the most fascinating element.
Take
That's where
advantage
people
of
could
that.
sympathize the most.
Yeah,
It makes us
feel a
realize why
connection.
the story is so good.
And
It brings out
compelling.
good characters from good writing from a good story.
Because we've all had to go
So, it
against
turns
our
out the
family
winner is
members
Prince
at
of
one
Egypt,
point,
a
so
superior film.
you can make a connection with the
Turn from
movie.
thy fierce wrath, O Lord.
Winner, the Prince of Egypt, of course.
And that's all I got. Thanks for joining me, guys. and
Nostalgia Critic.
Yeah.
This is God.
God, like the God?
Yes, I heard what you were saying about me being a loving God or a vengeful God.
Yeah?
You were wrong. I'm a vengeful God.
Oh,
Your ass is grass.
His house is grass, okay. What's he gonna do, turn his glasses upside down?
I'm the nostalgia critic. I remember it, so you don't have to.
Yep, that does it. Oh boy.
Oh, Moses, Moses.
Okay, that's the end of the video. Yeah, I've never seen the movie Ten Commandments. I can't believe I've never seen that. That's bizarre. I've normally watched nearly lots of old classic movies, and I can't believe I've never watched that one. Don't know how I've given that one a miss. Yeah, I gotta watch that right away. I mean, damn, that's very fascinating. Yeah, The Prince of Egypt. I know quite a lot about that movie. I know all the characters, the cast members, and the music. I know a lot about the movie because it's perhaps one of my favorited sort of cartoon animation, so to speak, movies of all time. It's on the top 10, so to speak. Yeah, I mean, the film is absolutely amazing, and I would recommend giving it a try. I mean, it truly is a good movie. I mean, Jesus, it's got tons of famous actors in it. How could you not? Yeah, I mean, the Ten Commandments, as in it for itself, I don't really follow the Ten Commandments. I think they're just more rules, and Jesus, as if there's one thing I've learned on this planet, there's no such thing as rules. Only mankind's rules. There's no such thing as divine rules or anything like that. And I've always said, what sort of God kills children in his name or something like that? When Moses is God, he's with the staff and it kills this Egyptian son in the cartoon, the Prince of Egypt. How's that showing power? I mean, that's not divine infinity or anything like that. If I was a god, you wouldn't need to kill anybody because you're God, you're supreme, you're powerful, and sometimes you don't have to kill people to set an example how powerful you are. Madmen do that. Dictators do that. Insane people with too much power start killing people to make them feel powerful do that. That's a sign of insanity. Yeah, that's when, gods, it's all speculation, of course, but when gods start killing people in the name of celebrating themselves. That's normally a narcissist or some sort of form of mental illness or something like that. I'm telling you, you can't go around being a god and killing people in your name and shit like that. You know, gods don't need to do that. If you're truly ultimate powerful, when you can do anything you want in the universe, and yeah, just leave everybody alone. There's no need. You're divine and everything. There's no need to kill people. You could do things another way. There's always another way. If you're all-knowing and all-seeing, and you know you can control space and time and all that shit. I don't know. I'm just making shit up. I'm just trying to make a point that if you are all-powerful and you have the power, you know, killing people is not a sign of power. Using fear is not a sign of power. The problem with using fear is people try to overcome fear. And if you're a god, an all-fearing god, sort of like a god saying, oh, fear me, because if you don't, I'm gonna smash down your house and all that, blah, 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 then one day someone's gonna overcome that fear and fight that god, because fear is designed to be overcome. It's a design flaw with fear. You can't be controlled by fear because people always try to overcome fear. Because, you know, that's why people still ride roller coasters and stuff, to overcome stuff like that. Fear is good. It reminds us of stuff, but it's designed to be overcome. Yeah, I mean, that was just a random babble on the end. I don't agree with the Ten Commandments. I think it may have worked back then, but in 2019, those rules don't apply today. Well, they do apply. You can still use them, but they're pretty brutal. Yeah, I don't like honor your mother and father and all that shit. That's bullshit. What happens if your mother and father are alcoholics? They bully you and beat the shit out of you every single day. You gonna respect them? I mean, it begs the question. I mean, you start asking questions, but you can't get the questions because, you know, he's dead. Moses is dead. You can't ask questions, and he's not gonna answer. So you're always asking questions. How stupid these sort of things were. But times change, you know. I mean, you know, I wish I had answers, and we're never gonna get answers. It's just a sad reality. All we can do is debate and have arguments, and that's the best we're gonna get. We're never truly gonna get the true answer. There's never really an answer for anything these days. You're just gonna have to be happy with what you got. Yeah, that's the end of my rambling. So if you like this video, make sure to give a like, comment down below, and make sure to subscribe to my channel if you enjoy my content. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.